For our last lecture, we're going to do a couple of things. The first of which is we're going to look at racks. And racks allow you to combine different devices together. First, we're going to combine some instrument racks together to make some sounds that are like combo sounds, layered sounds. Then we're going to look at some effects racks where you can add effects together to make your own customized effects. Let's jump over to Ableton. Start out with the instruments. And I'm going to go to Instrument Rack, drag it into my first MIDI track here. Then I'm going to take whatever instruments I want. I'm just going to take some of these existing ones here in instruments, but I can take sounds and stuff as well. I'll take analog, drag it in, and when I play that, let's get this on MIDI mapping. Have a basic analog sound there. Then I'm going to take this collision and add it to there. So when I go where it says show high chain list and drag the collision in there. Now it's going to combine these two sounds together. You can click back and forth in each one. It's kind of hard to hear this one though at the moment, right? So I'm going to turn down the volume of analog. Here's just the collision. Here's just the analog together. And I can go in the parameters of each of them and change them. I can combine all kinds of things here. So now I've combined a couple things together to make the rack. It's pretty cool. The parts I have on here, this allows me to show controls over the whole thing. And if I have controls, these macros over the whole thing, then anything I want to change, I can click on and then make that change. Now the typical way to do it is you'd click on map here and then pick something you want to change. So I might want to change something like the frequency of the cutoff. So I change that and say map. And now maybe I want to change just the loudness of this. Maybe I don't want to see the list of all the instruments I have sitting here. So I just hit this show hide chain list. This shows the devices, the actual things on there. So here's my analog, collision, and synths. A lot of times when Ableton gives you instruments that are really racks, they will have this stuff hidden. So all you really see is this instrument rack, and it'll have some name, and then it'll give you a bunch of macros that control the stuff in the background. You can also turn the thing off and on this way. Sometimes you just want to see the actual instruments, but you don't want to see the macros, so you can do that too. If you don't want to see anything, you can just double click on this top instrument rack bar and it'll hide everything in this little skinny version of it. Of course, you can click whatever you want to bring them back. So it essentially works the same if I'm going to do audio effects. What I'll look for is effects rack. I'm going to drag that here. For the moment here, I'm going to hide. I'm going to mute this collision so I can hear things like reverb better. Now let's add a reverb to there. And maybe can also add a pan. Now here's what would happen if I got rid of all that. Now with it on, I can adjust all these with macros as well, assign whatever parameters I want. So now let's make some loops. And I think it's a great idea just to have some type of drum beat to play along to. You can just do a metronome, but I think a drum beat helps. This one's pretty full. Has melodic elements and stuff in it too. You can do something like this or something that's less full. I'm going to take it and drag it into this new files devices. I don't need these audio ones actually, so I'm going to hit delete them. And look what happened when I dragged this idea in. It made it into a one cell little loop. If I hit it, so I can use it or not. I think it will. Now what I want to do is I want to play other stuff with it. This little button below makes things stop. When the buttons like this look like a circle, it's record enabled. It's just selected the track. If it's like a square, it's not record enabled. So for loop recording, I'm going to click on an instrument, hit the sound of it. That's not loud enough, so I probably want to see what's up with the instrument. Let's take a look at the rack here. Now say I want to play that and record along with it in real time, then add this next instrument. A great way to do that is I'm going to click on this little button here. This is the session record button, but instead of just clicking it on and off, I'm going to assign a keyboard shortcut. I'm going to take one of the numbers on the keypad and I'm going to go to key mode, click it, and then hit the number 1. Now when I hit 1, it's going to automatically record there. I'm going to make sure in edit I have record quantization on, and I'm going to be eighth notes. This over here means it's going to automatically stop things at 1 bar increments and change things at 1 bar increments. And that's really helpful. So it's the global quantize. So now that I have basic quantize and the global quantize set up, I'm going to want to, I don't have to, I guess, do this metronome. The only reason why I would is with the metronome, I may want to have a count in so I can get ready for the timing in the very beginning. It's up to you though. Now what I did is I actually hit the 1 again after I was done and it stopped playing. So I could hit the trigger button to trigger this to start, and then hit it again to trigger it to stop. I'm going to move over to this next one and start recording it. I don't need this anymore. I'm just going to start when I'm ready. So I'll hit that, click here, and have everything play. The very rightmost place over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the master, triggers all these things to play back in the same row, and that's called a scene. So I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to play this next one in. So I'm going to hit the 1 button to start recording. But I can keep on going like this and adding more of these. Ultimately, in the beginning, I don't want to have like everything playing at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two ideas and I'm going to hold down Alt or Control and copy them. Or I can go like this and hit copy. Here's why. I'm going to delete them in the beginning now. Let's hear that. Yeah. Then I want to hear the next two. Now everything. Cool. So those are my first 3 ideas. I'm going to kind of layer them now. I'm going to start out with something that's more minimal and then add stuff as I go in. And now I'm going to assign some other numbers to this. I'm going to label these as, instead of the 10 keypad, I'm going to do the numbers above the keyboard. I'm going to click key, click on here, type 1, 2 here, and 3 here. And you can see it says what the keys are over here. This says N1 for numeric keypad. So that's the 10 key on the right side of the keyboard. These are the keys. This is 1, 2, 3 above the keyboard. And if I just hit number 1 up there, plays this first scene, then 2, but it's going to wait until the measure's over to start the new one. So doing composition like this is a really intuitive way to think of new ideas and in real time add more and more things to your song.